going through my mobile the other day and I found a recording that I'd done at Earth Frequency Festival, and it's a talk that Android Jones gave back in 2019. So if you're not familiar, Earth Frequency Festival is held every year, normally before COVID, at Ivory Rock in South-East Queensland, Australia. Android was there in 2019. I think he was there once before as well. And he did this talk, which is super cool. I unfortunately missed a bit of the beginning and a little bit at the end, but I think the crux of it is there. He talks about what starts off with him creating Monarch Dragon at a festival. Can't remember what festival it was, on the bonnet of a Land Rover, and how super fucking crazy that got for him. Because as you know, Android Jones is a visionary artist, and he uses psychedelics and different substances to enhance his creative experience and would channel the work that he's doing. So he does talk a bit about the experiences of taking psychedelics, but it's really not the focus of this talk. He talks about samskara and how the concept for samskara was born. And it came into fruition, and that's a bit of a crazy journey. I have a feeling that everything in his life is super crazy, full power, just like pretty wild. He goes over going to Boom Festival with his wife and his kids. Some cool little stories about that, about his art studio, about a whole different elements of his practice. So listen in, see what you get from it. Thank you very much to Android Jones for allowing me to post this. I did reach out and contact his team to make sure it was okay that I posted this talk. I've got some of his images that I've just put just in relation to parts of his talk. So there's like a bit of a cross-reference of what he's talking about. Enjoy.
And then to the best of my recollection, what I kind of remember next was like seeing the image there, like this sort of ratio as a square. And then I remember it getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, like all the way. And it felt a little out of my control, like I had like leaned on like the keyboard or something like that. Like something's wrong, like it's going all the way in. And I follow this little like dot all the way to like the tiniest little sort of like black pixel. And there's probably a change over there, but I don't really remember, but for the story's sake. So, and then from that picture I kind of come back and I'm sitting there and I'm kind of looking at everything and I'm like, well, I kind of, I survey my surroundings and like something is afoot, something is not the way it was before, because somehow my laptop and my Wacom tablet and the tripod and the corner of the Forerunner, they're all made of like the same like black matte rubber material, like they had all been just like fused together. And that same thing is like fused to the bottom of the railings of the truck. That was my first hint that something was wrong. Something was seriously wrong at that point. And then I kind of looked out and in fact, actually, even I have to be honest, being out here, like seeing the way that these LEDs particularly like light up these are like gum trees, these rubber gum trees, it still sends like a shiver down my spine, just because the scene that I was in is I'm on top of this, I'm still on the Forerunner, everybody's gone, friends are gone, there's still sound happening in the background that I'm kind of like aware of, there's still like a beat or a pulse, but I start looking at all the trees, and I'm like, because I look at a lot of nature, that's one of, I think nature art is kind of I don't know what you'd say, it's like the retirement syndrome of like most artists that I know that get to a certain age. Once you get into like the landscape painting, you rarely go back. Once you really understand what landscape painting is all about, I thought it was the most boring stuff like when I was a kid. But once you start really understanding plants and trees, and you really start connecting with them, and oh man, when you can like tap into the majesty of a tree and observe the tree in its natural setting, and you see all the other trees around it, and like as all these trees are expanding and reaching the sun, where like one tree's agency and liberty stops as soon as it starts like encroaching on the next tree. It's just like, I take acid so I can understand nature now. That's like my trip now, just so I don't care about the Palladians or whatever else is out there, just so I can try to understand like the fractal patterns of natural growth. So I'm pretty familiar with like the energy of like a living tree, and I look at all these trees, and they look very similar to the trees that I remember, but they're not alive anymore at all. And as I look closer, I realize that it feels like a set piece. Like if you closed your eyes and someone spent $10 million like recreating a whole movie set of where you're at, like that's where I was. And I don't know where the story is really going with this, but I know that, kind of to sum it up and move on to happier things, I remember having enough. The weird thing, I wasn't high anymore. I was totally conscious, and that was kind of the thing. It was like consciousness left to itself. Like it was like reality kept moving on, and I got stuck in like one frame of what was happening, and my mind just started like, did I do too much? Did I break my neck and fall off the Land Rover? You know, I had basically eternity to like consider all the options of what happened with no feedback or answer whatsoever, because there's nothing there except myself. But there is a beat. There's like one consistent, repetitive trance beat that's just going forever, the same one over and over and over again. And so, oh man, I don't want this story to last forever, because the experience certainly did. But I don't know, you know, spoiler alert, at the end of the day, like somehow, once the sun rose, there's enough like outer change and stimuli to kind of, and your body processes the toxins that you like bombarded with. But yeah, I just remember the feeling afterwards was, once I realized that like I wasn't dead, which it took some of my friends a while to convince me that I definitely wasn't at that point, you know. Apparently there was like, even though I was having this serene experience, like contemplating like the hell of my infinite consciousness and nothingness, I think I might have been like screaming on the outside or thrashing around. I don't know. The stories vary, you know, unreliable witnesses. Yeah, but that feeling afterwards was just this like total rebirth, you know. I feel like being that feeling, like I feel like whatever it was, it definitely tapped into like one of the deepest fears of that fear of just it's not the nothingness, it's the conscious awareness of the nothingness forever. But I know eternity, you get used to it pretty fast too, you know? You guys ever been there? And it seems like it's going on forever, but then you're like, I've always been here, right? It's not so bad if I've always been here, you know? I've been here forever, so I guess I can get used to it again. You settle into eternity is what I'm saying. You know, it's kind of familiar once you get over like the raw terror and you're never going to see your friends again or any of that blah, 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 you know? I don't make me that light of it at all. But yeah, this was the main thrust of this piece was what was created. I ended up finishing a lot of like the details once I had like the conscious awareness, but this feeling of being able to kind of like confront what could be like your deepest fear and be in that. And I kind of romanticized it on the piece, being, you know, that this huge fear is just made up of all these little individual butterflies, you know, and individually it's nothing to be afraid of, but together it can be something overwhelming. I don't want to undersell the white knuckle terror of like eternal separation from God, like pretty fucking terrifying. However, it's about fear, and it's about the ability to confront fear, and I think that's a lot of I think that's why we're kind of in this. I think, you know, sometimes these festivals are like a nice kind of a sneaky way of convincing us to get to these places of vulnerability where we feel like there's enough of a safe container that we can go to these like outer limits of consciousness and have a community where we can share these kind of things. There's a lot of people I can tell this story to, they don't understand. You guys understand. I feel like you guys get it, right? You've been there. I'm not special. I know that, I mean, MXC's been around for a while. We've all had our crazy trips. But, yeah. No, the feeling coming out of it, it's like, that's the thing, it's like, as long as you can pull it through, it's all about the ending, you know? But that feeling of once I was sure that I wasn't dead anymore, man, the life affirmingness of that. I remember like the sun was rising and I jumped off the Land Cruiser and like I had like a nice black shirt off. I just tore the shirt open and buttons are popping off and I'm like, this is often a thing. This is a repeating pattern in my trips of like digging into the ground and like digging in and grabbing the grass and the soil and brushing it against my face just to trying to get buy-in on the molecular density of what's going on to make sure this isn't a hallucination anymore and you don't want to fall into a psychosis where you're questioning everything for months afterwards, like college. You don't want to do that again. That was bad, right? It was no fun. Right, so and that's the story of Monarch Dragon. Yeah, thank you very much. There you go. You guys want to see, oh, I know what you guys want to see. You guys want to see pictures of my kids. Yeah. Woo! So this is my new art project. This is the big one that's going on right now. Her name is Nova. And, yeah. How many of you guys have kids out there? You know what, that's just really, I wish my wife and my family could be out here, but Nova's 2, Escher's 9 months, and we trotted them up. I got there, we took them all to Boom with the mom and the grandma to get them, you know, like their real psytrance baptism, you know, when they were really young, just brand it on, yes, you know. You get the early start that I didn't have, you know? It took me 30 years to figure out that psytrance was the music of the universe. Learn from my mistakes. You're not more cool than it is. Yeah, so what a huge advantage these kids have. Total psytrance privilege, you know, right off the bat. You know, Nova was jamming the psytrance when she was in the womb at Boom for the first time. So, but yeah, bringing him out here just felt a little indulgent on our part, you know, but it is so amazing to see all the families out here. Like the dreadlock to like feral indigo ratio at this festival is off the charts. So awesome. What's a visionary festival without kids? Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. What's the whole point of this like huge signaling bioevolutionary show-off contest if you're not trying to find like the best potential mate and pass on your genes and give them all the advantages that you didn't have, right? I mean, I watch BBC Nature Planet every day with my kids, and that is the message over and over and over again. You know, if you've got one job here, pass on the genes, ensure the survival of the next generation. It can be as simple as that sometimes, and difficult, but yeah, so, oh man, this is too many pictures of the kids, sorry. This is like, oh no, wait, let me see if this one, oh yeah. So this is so we brought Nova to Boom Festival. It was like her 3rd night out. It was a big night, it was like the Wednesday. And we had to say, you guys been to Boom? Anybody been to Boom? Yeah, sweet. We're Sacred Dragons, hanging out in their like kid Ewok village thing, brought her back over. She was getting really tired. I was with mom and grandma, she's in the stroller, she's about to go to bed, and we passed through the chill out stage, which the chill out at the 2018 like chill out, if they gave like an all-time like festival awards ceremony, like that stage is a contender. And I took her into the center of the chill out just so you could feel like the vibroacoustic floor of just the juiciness of everything. And I don't know what, I think she like got like a contact high or something, but like when we got out of there, like she would not go back in the stroller, and she was just like, she had her full tutu on and she was just like running in circles and howling and laughing, and I've never seen like so much I don't know if there's going to play on it, so much energy out of this little girl. And we have a kind of routine of painting together. What a bummer if that doesn't play. So we have this whole routine of like of painting together, kind of every morning. That's our jam. And maybe your imagination's better than this video is. But I mean, Lewis is on the stage. I think he left. Luke Brown was there, and like, you know, Lewis is a powerhouse. He works during the day. I think she was sharing the stage maybe with Luke, and you know, it's too bad for Luke. You know, some of these live paintings, some that happen at different paces. I gotta say that she just put everybody to shame. You know, she was like full spotlight on watching just, and that's the thing. She's kind of like my greatest teacher now for art, because as I watch her at this stage when she was still just like a little over a year, it was just like the unfettered creative spirit without any of like the objective, subjective garbage that we get, you know? Like, she's not trying to paint a tree or a butterfly or a house. Like, she is just pure jazz music, you know? No stroke is there because she doesn't want to do it. She's not trying to make anybody happy. She's not trying to impress anybody. She's just like, just the pure experience of like just the molecules and the consistency and the viscosity of the paint and more is what it's all about. So yeah, and these are all the paintings around it. She did 2 pieces. She crushed the first one, and after she kind of runs out of canvas, she kind of looks at me, is like, is that it? I'm like, oh no babe, I got another one. And then so I'm pointing at the monitor, this one on the bottom she decided that she wanted to like dance. She didn't want it on the canvas anymore. That was done. Figured that one out. She wanted to like dance on the paint and move. And she wanted to make a painting all with her own feet. So sweet. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just showing off kids. But I don't know, man. You know, as I look at that too, yeah, there's her. Here's the boy. Here's Escher. He's 9 months. This is him checking out a Zavi piece. Another thing you learn by having kids too, I have a whole new like, you know, bar of like how I measure if how like amazing a piece of art is or not, or if, you know, we're all kind of figuring out if pieces have value or not. And now like all my measurement of value is based off like, is this the piece of art that I want to subject to my kids' conscious and subconscious mind every day for the most developmental years of their life or not? You know, there's my bar right there. And like with that bar, a lot of things I'm pretty specific about programming myself and my family. So I think I had that on lockdown pretty much, but needless to say, we're installing like a 7-foot tall Venosa astral circus in the kids' room. Like, that's gonna be the jam for my kids. It's like a Venosa astral circus every day. That's the kind of gift that just keeps on giving over the years, for sure. But yeah. Man, what else do you guys want to talk about? You guys talk about like samskara? You guys want to talk about VR? You guys want to talk about samskara? Let's talk about both. Okay, because they're kind of related. So here's the samskara. Oh, this is kind of fun. So this is my life in the last 3 years. This is like a corner of the barn that I kind of cleared it out. This is like VR, like day 1. Here's the PC and the monitor. Oh, it's all nice, you know. Got like a rug going on. Oh man, I wish I had a photo. Oh my god, I wish I had a photo of this rug now. Holy cow! No, literally. So this is like the day 1 VR photo. Yeah, it's all like nice and it's all like organized and clean and where's my jam? Oh yeah, this is like VR like day 3 years afterwards, you know. It's nothing but like tangled wires and monitors and dongles and hard drives and chewed Nicorette gum and stickers and Velcro tape and just as many pixels that I can just like shoved down my retinas, and got all the monitors are on these like arms that are like that reach off the walls. I'm like using every stud that I can find, and like, yeah, this is what being an immersive artist is all about. You know, just it's kind of beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Let's see, this is my studio. These are like the nice shots that like I post on Instagram. This is what it never looks like. Ever. This is Nova's studio. This is what her studio looks like all the time. Like, super active. Yeah, oh, look at all those little like palette knives all there. All the pencils are sharpened and they're all like this is what my studio really looks like. All the time. All the time. You know, it'll take me like 2 days with help of people I pay to like help me organize everything, and it'll take me like one evening to just thrash everything. I don't know what it is. It's just the casualties of the creative experience, you know? You gotta break some eggs. You know, I think I try to channel my shadow side of, you know, if you're taking this, you're trying to harness the energies of creativity, and you know the shadow side of that is just chaos and destruction. So I try to exercise my chaotic demons on my workspace. So yeah, that's what it usually looks like. Just everything's in the wrong place. I look at this painting. I just, you know what, I see all the paint that's just drying on the brushes right now, and all the unsharpened pencils and all those things. But anyway, I don't want to talk about that. It's okay. I did that bit. And what else happened in the last 7 years? Well, yeah, this thing happened, but this thing happened to me before this thing happened. And this guy, this is Swami. We call him the Gangster Swami. And Gangster Swami reached out to me 3 years ago. He's like, hey Andrew, I got this ashram in Thailand. We make domes. I want to put your art in domes. I see your art all over the world with me in domes. I'm a Russian mysterious guy with no background. You have no way to check my credibility. Come out to Thailand to our ashram. Just come out. You pay for your own ticket. Come on. Okay, gosh. I had a free weekend. It was just a weird enough of an invitation that I was just like, what could go wrong, right? You know? Yeah, you know, and gotta say, like, you know, over the course of the 3 years, we started off in he had a little, full on, like a 3-story digital ashram, and he's just got maybe like 100. Like, I didn't really understand like the Swami part at all. That came later on. You know, knowing what I know now, what I was really witnessing was like 100 like devotees of Swami that were all in this ashram, and they're all, you know, I didn't know they were devotees because on the outside they're computer engineers and animators and technicians and C++ guys and infrastructure and marketing and all these people. But then I noticed they're all chanting together every morning and eating together and praying together. And I was just like, what is going, you know? I'm like, man, somebody is drinking the Kool-Aid, but, you know, the Kool-Aid doesn't look that bad. You know, I could get used to Kool-Aid like this. Not all the way, but, you know. And, yeah, they showed me, oh, man, you guys want to see this right now? Oh, man, this is a naked picture of my boy that Martha just sent me right now. Yeah, coming up. Oh, that could have gone a totally different way. I'm sorry. Literally, a couple of hours ago, that would have gone a different way. Oh, Australia, the things you make me say. I understand. Yeah, he showed me a little dome. He had a little mini dome, and they made a little mini movie just based off images they just stole online without asking my permission, which is totally cool. I don't care. I leave high-res things all over the place on the internet. And it was a small dome, but it was like really cool and really compelling. And I was just like, okay, you sold me. We can take this relationship to the next level, Swami. You know. And I posted it on Facebook that night when I used to use Facebook personally. Never mind. I posted is like the fodder, just like, okay, I'm just gonna feed the algorithm and then go to bed. And then the next morning I wake up and the thing had like over 100,000 like likes and views and shares. And you know, it's like I had never had anything spread with that kind of like viral. It wasn't really viral, but in my world it was super viral. And I'm so excited to tell Swami about this. I think it's gonna like blow his mind. And I see him the next morning and we're having tea. And we're kind of chatting, and I'm just like, man, Swami, wait up, I tell him this. I'm like, hey, Swami, guess what? That video I posted last night, and I showed him like the stats, you know, trying to like blow his mind. And he kind of looks at it and passes it back. Like, what do you expect to be working with Hand of Krishna? He made me a mantra I couldn't refuse, and we've been business partners ever since. Yeah. It's taken me a while to really figure out what samskara even is. Like, it's, for the amount of time we've been doing it, it's still, there's something really, there's been something really, I think what was first mysterious about it was, like, I liked it a lot, but I really tried to, when you brought it out to Burning Man, the first year, I think we had a picture of that. This is our first dome. This is our first samskara out in the wild, and it was a big 60-foot dome. And we had like a little, some gallery walls inside. This is my hot wife, Martha. Yeah, Martha, wish you were here. Yeah, we had a little, it was like we had a little 16-foot dome. I mean, like a dome you could fit like 30 people in it if you just squished all of them, and everybody had really like loose, flexible boundaries. You could fit a lot of people in a dome like that. And we started playing it, and we just got like, you know, first day people would trickle in, but by like Sunday we had 3-hour lines of these people lining up, seeing it 2 and 3 times with all their friends. I just kept trying to figure out, it's just like, guys, it's just a movie, you know? Like, we're at Burning Man, there's things that are like exploding and dangerous and on fire, and you know, like, why are all these people going to see a movie? It's a cool movie, but like, it's still a movie. And it's one of those things where I have to admit, sometimes I feel like, kind of like with my late blooming love affair with psytrance, often I feel like I'm the last one to get the joke at times, unfortunately. Because we're feeling like that. Yeah. So I tried to think of like logistically, okay, look objectively, you know, what is going on, like what's happening, like what is the response to what's happening. And I think on the like the objective level, I started to realize, well, if you get like the right, if you have the right content and you have the right animation, it's like consciousness, you know, consciousness is the most amazing thing too. And it's like, it's kind of a slut, you know, like it just like wants to be seduced and fooled and tricked over and over again. When we let it, it wants to go halfway, but it'll go halfway, but to seal the deal as artists, like we need to take it all the way home in order to really like solidify that experience. And I started learning that if you that home run with a human's consciousness, it's kind of like it's like a multi-chamber lock. And if you can get like the set and setting, which is huge, being at Burning Man, huge advantage. If you get like the visuals and the content and the animation right, it's like, and then you get like the sound and like the mantras right, and you get like the duration and the pacing, like there's all these little things. But I just kind of realized that when you're being in an immersive place, the key to immersive art is that the advantage it has is that it's art with minimal distraction. You really do have, like, you're taking up, you know, 30% of our frontal cortex is all dedicated to interpreting visual stimuli. So if you can leave none of that 30% on the table, you got a good start. You got a good runway there to pierce into someone's subjective conscious experience. But if you get all those things, then I realized that like it doesn't really matter if it's a movie or not. It becomes an experience. And that's really what we're all here for, you know? That's all we really get. Is like we get these experiences, you know, they're temporary and fleeting. Like, we think that we're after objects and things, you know, like, oh yeah, this is, you know, I bought this water bottle, like it's a water bottle, like I picked it up from the Woolworth the other day on my way out here because I lost mine. And you know, you think you're buying a water bottle, but really what I'm buying is I'm buying the experience of being able to like have my ginger tea whenever I want it, you know. It's like that's what I bought with the water bottle. That's it right there, you know. And that's what everybody's after ultimately. I think, you know, we're after a lot of things, but a lot of the things we all after, they all kind of end with experiences. And yeah, at the end of the day, if you can deliver an experience that's more engaging than any of the other experiences somebody has access to at the time, then it's got a pretty good shot of kind of, you know, getting out there. But what I've learned, so that was like, you know, my rational, like, oh, I gotta figure this out and deconstruct it. And if I could deconstruct what people liked about my art, I'd be making like nothing but unions every day and be like a billionaire right now, but I can't, you know. Sometimes you make one thing and I couldn't recreate the magic of, I've tried to recreate things and try to take it apart, put it back together. Some things are just totally mysterious, and I'm totally okay with them being mysterious. And Samskar is also kind of one of those mysterious things, but I feel like one of the things that what I've come to understand now, after like 3 years of hanging out with this piece of media, seeing it like hundreds and hundreds of times. I think it was like a year and a half ago at Burning Man. Yeah, fuck it. I already told you guys all the other stuff. Might as well totally incriminate myself. So over the last couple of years, like all these, did anyone go to Symbiosis and see Samskar at Symbiosis? Head up to the Eclipse thing we had, a couple. Man, so this has been this kind of disturbing trend at the events where there were these I'm sure you guys don't have them here, but on the West Coast, we're kind of infested with these wooks with these like DMT vape pens, you know, and they're like, I'm like, when did you need to start doing DMT on the dance floor? Is that a thing here? I mean, you got Changa, that's totally its own, that's Psytrance Changa has totally, I get it. You don't need to explain anything to me there. But like, you know, Tipper and Bass Nectar and stuff like that, like, I don't know, man. It's like, not my DMT. Like, oh God, that's kind of terrifying. No, they develop a whole technique with this whole thing, and I don't need to go into like the details. But it got so bad that I almost put up a sign for like a DMT smoking section at like the back of the dome, you know, like machine elves over here, you know, default consciousness on this side, just so because they'll feel more comfortable. People don't have to like get their realities fragmented and fractal when they didn't want it, you know, because that's a violation, isn't it? You know, right? There's so much in the world I don't understand that I'm really okay with not understanding a lot. And I was okay just not to understand what was happening here, you know. But apparently, this is our Samskar domes. These are. It's just a model. These are models that we made for our. When you have to convince a lot of people to do crazy, unreasonable things for free, it really helps if you have a nice picture. Years of concept art pays off. Yeah, so we're in this dome, and like it's the last day. It's like it's Monday morning. Like it's a miracle that like, I mean, all of our computers and projectors and fancy electronic things will eventually seize and die, but most of it made it through till Sunday, which is great, you know. And, you know, these projectors have maybe 1 or 2 shows left in them before everything, the whole hologram starts, like, collapsing down. God, it was weird. It's like the first time someone gave me ketamine, too. It's so weird. I mean, you have these things, like, there's been times where, like, I feel like like there's like a spirit. It's almost like archetypal, and he just like possesses a wook, and he takes the wook over, and he does something like, "You need to do this now." And I'm in the and he says it right at the right time, where I'm like, okay, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, you know. Oh man, the rest is history there. But no, with the aid of, and there's a whole technique. You like slowly sip the pen. You don't like blast off. Man, I mean, it's so weird. Like, I'd seen this movie 300 times, and I know all I see is the mistakes. All I see are like the cheap tricks and the polygonal edges and like the flickering frames and the dead pixels. Like, I see every seam and every out of stitch piece whenever I see it, because artists were pretty critical of our own stuff sometimes. Ooh man, but not this time. It's like, what did it feel like? It was like just the edges of the walls just disappeared altogether, but you're still there. You're not like you're not going through any portals or anything. But when I don't know if I have an image of her. Yeah, when this lady, when the Dharma dragon, there's a scene where it comes up, and it's like, I know it's just polygons. I get it, you know. I know the resolution of the texture maps on this thing. I know the number of vertices, and it just became like a sock puppet for the divine, and it took over this puppet, and it just looked down at me, like right there, with like its full outer awareness, and I was just like, and in a terrifyingly beautiful, exhilarating, gentle way, she's kind of looked down at me. She's like, "Do you get it yet? Do you understand what you did? You see this now?" So yeah, pretty cool, you know. Portal for the divine and stuff. Okay, we gotta wrap this thing up, guys. Yeah, come on, get back to it. Kids, yeah, I get it. I'd love to do some questions from the audience. Usually I do like Q&As and things. Oh, how many artists do we have here? Oh man, there's way more people here than I thought there were going to be, unfortunately.
So thanks for watching. I've got his Android's links below. So if you check out below, you can see where you can go and buy his work, check out more of his art, and do a search on YouTube. There's heaps of other information on him out there. I just wanted to add from this worth because I saw that nobody else had recorded and put it up, and I was like, oh, I've got this little gem. I'm going to get it up on YouTube for everyone to enjoy. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you, if you liked the video, leave a like, all that jazz, and see you in the next video. Bye.